are suing Ms. Bailey for $600.
She completely ruined them with her big feet.
Explain to the court, please.
It all started on a breezy afternoon when two longtime friends, Sarah McCauley and Erica Bailey, found themselves in a courtroom. Sarah, a spoken word artist with an eye for unique fashion, brought Erica, an up-and-coming social media influencer, to face a judge over a pair of stylish boots.
Ms. McCauley, you are suing Ms. Bailey for $600 for the price of a pair of boots you say she ruined.
That had once belonged to Sarah's mother. At first glance, it might have seemed like a simple dispute about a piece of clothing, but underneath the surface was a larger conflict about friendship, respect, and what happens when people cross boundaries.
She ruined these boots that were dear to me.
The boots at the center of the argument were unlike anything you'd typically see on a store shelf. Plaid fabric with a glitzy, sparkling heel. They carried a sense of nostalgia for Sarah because they had been passed down by her mom. Sarah explained to the judge that Erica had borrowed the boots for a single photo shoot, but that the agreement stopped there.
I lent them to her for a photo shoot, and that was all.
It wasn't supposed to be a multi-day adventure around town.
She decided to take it upon herself to walk around all over town, going to parties and dinners. She completely ruined them with her big feet.
Sarah recalled that she had specifically told Erica to be careful and return them right after the shoot, because these boots meant more to her than just another item in her closet.
That are dear to me. These are actually my mom's shoes. They're really sentimental to me, and she knows this.
Over the years, Sarah had lent Erica clothes and shoes on occasion, usually for social media content.
I had lent her a pair of shoes before that she completely ruined. Girl, you have some big feet.
So this has happened to you before.
But deep down, Sarah had come to realize that every time she let Erica borrow anything, there was a risk of damage or loss. The boots incident had turned out to be the biggest blow so far, and she felt it was time to draw the line.
But I feel like she disrespected me by wearing my shoes that are dear to me.
Erica, for her part, had a whole different viewpoint.
I'm honestly just hurt that she would jeopardize our whole friendship that we've built over the last 5 years over a pair of boots.
Yes, she admitted she wore the boots longer than planned.
I wore them to the photo shoot and to some other influencer-related events.
But, according to Erica, she had gotten an unexpected opportunity to attend extra influencer-related events right after the photo shoot.
Those events were connected to this photo shoot. After the photo shoot, to really promote the whole lifestyle that goes along with being an influencer.
Sometimes, these opportunities involved meet and greets, brand showcases, and casual gatherings where she could snap more photos and maximize her social media presence. Even though her official photo shoot was technically done, she thought wearing the boots a bit longer would help her create a more compelling online persona. The trouble was, she never took a moment to call or text Sarah for permission. She saw her chance and ran with it, posting pictures of the boots on social media while hopping from event to event. By the time Sarah realized what was happening, she was scrolling through her feed in total disbelief. Her prized boots, originally meant for a quick photo shoot, were now making appearances at multiple parties and influencer gatherings. Sarah felt disrespected, but she tried to stay calm at first. She shot Erica a message, asking her to wrap things up and bring the boots back immediately. But it was too late. When Erica finally returned them, Sarah discovered they had been stretched out to a point where they no longer fit snugly. As Sarah told the court, she tried wearing thick socks to see if she could salvage the boots, but her feet kept sliding around inside them. With each step, Sarah felt that unwelcome looseness, and it was clear that the boots had lost their original shape. During the hearing, Sarah held up the boots with a crestfallen expression. These boots, she insisted, might look okay from the outside, but the inner structure was now warped enough that wearing them felt more like a hazard than a pleasure. Adding insult to injury was the fact that Sarah had also planned to wear the boots herself at a spoken word event she was hosting. She had expected to stand on stage, proudly sporting the sentimental footwear. Instead, she ended up trying to hide her frustration while finishing her performance in different shoes. Erica listened to Sarah's grievances with a half-apologetic shrug. She admitted that she definitely wore the boots more times than originally agreed upon. She emphasized that her influencer lifestyle required her to attend more events than she anticipated. She also downplayed any intent to harm Sarah's property. In Erica's eyes, the boots were still wearable, and she felt that Sarah was overreacting by taking the matter to court. She had been friends with Sarah for years, and they had always supported one another. She had assumed Sarah would be understanding of her job demands. Yet, she also said she felt a pang of remorse for not being more cautious especially because she knew how meaningful those boots were. Still, Sarah believed that Erica's casual attitude was proof enough that she didn't grasp the emotional weight of these boots. Their sentimental value was tied to the memory of Sarah's mom, and to Sarah, it felt like her trust had been trampled. In a moment that surprised everyone, Sarah shared with the judge that this wasn't even the first time Erica had damaged a pair of shoes. Once before, Erica's wider feet had permanently altered some shoes that Sarah had been kind enough to lend. Back then, Sarah had tried to laugh it off as a lesson learned, telling her friend that it might be best not to borrow shoes in the future. This time, though, it was too big of a betrayal to wave away. The judge could sense the tension between the two friends. She looked carefully at the boots, examining the stitching, the sparkly heel, and the overall wear. From the outside, they still shined in that charming plaid pattern, but the inside was significantly loosened. What struck the judge was the emotional rift that was emerging. She observed that the pair of them had once been close, sharing more than just outfits. Sarah had attended Erica's events, given her moral support, and vice versa. Now they found themselves at a crossroads over, as the judge put it, a pair of shoes that might be physically intact but emotionally damaged. Sarah expressed another layer of hurt. Erica had failed to show up for Sarah's big spoken word event. Sarah had taken that letdown personally, feeling as though Erica could post photos all day in her boots, but couldn't spend a single evening to support her friend's art. That absence became a symbol of broken friendship. In fact, Sarah felt so strongly about it that she composed a brief poem to deal with her emotions, something raw and pointed. When she read that poem aloud in court, the room turned silent, and the judge noted how heartbreak can sometimes be channeled into creative expression. Erica shifted awkwardly, saying she had simply lost track of time and scheduling. Still, Sarah felt that an event as important as that should have been more of a priority, or at least worth a quick apology text. As the hearing continued, Sarah provided some evidence of the boot's value. There was a listing online showing a similar pair advertised for around $400 if a buyer wanted to buy it now, although the potential asking price could go even higher for unique or vintage pairs. Sarah calculated that because these were her mother's boots and had sentimental value, they should be worth more. She initially asked for $600, explaining to the judge that she had landed on that figure by factoring in both the market price and the emotional attachment. Erica scoffed at the inflated valuation, saying that if you could buy a similar pair for $400, that should be the end of the story. But for Sarah, these were not simply similar boots. She had the memories woven into those shoes. Even though the judge recognized the personal connection, the law generally focuses on actual monetary costs rather than emotional or sentimental value. The judge felt that neither woman was completely innocent. Sarah's mistake, in the judge's view, was ignoring the fact that Erica had previously proven to be careless with borrowed footwear. Meanwhile, Erica had overlooked Sarah's instructions and used the boots beyond the single photo shoot. Additionally, the judge pointed out that Erica was profiting from her influencer appearances while ignoring the possibility she might owe Sarah something in return for the extended use. Ultimately, the judge decided that both parties shared responsibility. She refused to grant Sarah the full $600, reasoning that Sarah had knowingly lent items to someone who had already caused shoe damage in the past. On the other hand, Erica had crossed a line by wearing the boots after the photo shoot and altering their shape, rendering them uncomfortable for Sarah. To the judge, these facts called for a split solution. So she awarded Sarah $300, half of the amount Sarah had requested. This outcome stood as a partial victory. Sarah received some compensation for her loss, and Erica was forced to acknowledge that her actions had a real cost. After the verdict, the two friends had an emotional exchange. Erica seemed baffled that their entire friendship had come down to a courtroom battle. Sarah said it was never just about the boots, but about feeling used and cast aside. She needed Erica to understand that this breach of trust and disrespect had pushed her to finally speak up. Erica, while apologetic, also felt stung by the legal confrontation. She feared the friendship might never return to how it was before. Sarah admitted she still cared for Erica and hoped they could mend the rift. But she also needed to see genuine change and respect. As the judge's gavel signaled the end of the proceedings, Sarah walked out feeling both relieved and sorrowful. She had reclaimed a sense of self-worth by asserting her boundaries, even though she'd lost her beloved boots in the process. Erica stepped out into the hallway, uncertain whether she should apologize or defend herself. Their final few words to each other hovered in the air, a mixture of regret, caution, and hope. Perhaps they would find a way to talk it out in time, and see if their connection was strong enough to survive. Or perhaps they'd carry on living their separate lives, each with a new understanding of how fragile trust can be when put under strain. Either way, that single pair of tartan plaid boots had become a turning point. They were no longer just a fashion accessory. They were a symbol of the respect one friend must show another's cherished possessions, and a warning of what can happen when friends take each other for granted. In the end, the day wasn't only about a legal matter. It was about facing the consequences of carelessness, setting boundaries, and learning that sometimes what appears small, a single pair of shoes, can contain a world of deeper meaning.